Okay, have you ever discussed or talked about absolute values, absolute value of a real number, complex number, or any type of number, the quaternions? But first, we must understand the absolute value of a single real variable. How or what do we mean by absolute value? Well, absolute value can just mean the real length, original length of a number. Probably it has been minus 5. The absolute value of minus 5 is just 5. Or absolute value of x is just x. But this is not a sufficient definition. So let us see a sufficient definition for absolute value. Now, the definition of absolute value is, so if x is any real number, I'm going to talk about the real number, is any real number, the absolute value of x is defined as x if that x is actually greater than 0. By greater than 0 means the value is positive. It is 0 if actually x is equal to 0. So it means the absolute value of 0 is actually 0. And it is minus x if x is less than 0. By less than 0 means the value is negative. So anytime you see a question given to you and you find the absolute value sign, or what we call the modulus, these three definitions hold. So for instance, if you are having 2x minus 1, the absolute value of this less than, or let us say less than or equals to 1. What do we mean? It simply means that 2x minus 1 ranges between, just as x ranges between x and minus x, 2x minus 1 ranges between minus 1 and 1. So just as x ranges between x and minus x, you also find this to range between what? Minus 1 and 1. And how do we solve this? The first thing to do is for we to eliminate this minus 1, and we can only do that by adding 1 to both sides. Add 1 to both sides. So if you add 1 to both sides, add 1 to both sides. Okay, so that is going to be minus 1 plus 1 less than or equals to 2x, because minus 1 plus 1 here will give us 0, less than or equals to 1 plus 1 here, which we obviously know is 2. So we are going to be having 0 less than or equals to 2x less than or equals to 2. So in order for me to find the value, because it's obvious that the question given like this, we have to find the values of x. We have to find the values of x. So what we have here, it is obvious when we divide through by 2, dividing this by 2, this by 2, and this by 2, we'll have 0 less than or equals to 2, we cancel 2, we have x, and we have this less than or equals to 1. We don't end here. It simply means that x belongs to a set, and that set is a closed interval of 0 and 1. A closed interval of 0 and 1. Any value between 0 and 1 can actually satisfy this inequality, or what I mean, the inequality with an absolute value. So we simply have, if by graph, since this is a real line, by graph, we have the real line, you have 0 here, and x ranges between 0 and 1. So if we have 1 here, it means we can shade this because of the equality sign, and we can shade this. So the set of numbers between this 0 and 1, take note, this is the x-axis, and this is the set of real numbers. So the set of numbers between 0 and 1 actually satisfies this inequality. But we cannot just be talking about the set of elements in a real number. What of elements in the complex number? So if we have a plus ib, where b is the imaginary part and a is the real part, the absolute value of that is simply the square root of the real part and the imaginary part. That is a squared plus b squared. So you can also find the absolute value of a vector. You can also find the absolute value of a negative number. Like I said earlier, the absolute value of a negative number is simply 5. But don't forget the triangular inequality. When we talk about absolute value, one thing you should never forget is this. Very simple, that A plus B is less than or equals to A plus the absolute value of A plus the absolute value of B. This is known as the triangle inequality. The triangle inequality is applied in vast areas of engineering, medicine, mathematics generally, and physics. We apply the triangle inequality because with the triangle inequality, we can assume these values for these values.